8-4. Jesus, that game had more goals than a career meeting. Way! That game had more shots than a stag doing Ibiza. Way! That game was more exciting than Wayne Rooney and John Terry in a brothel. Way! Hey, all right, Borussia Dortmund record breakers in a fantastic game against Legia Warsaw. 8-4. Jesus Christ. The Borussia Dortmund squad and everything that goes along with them, they definitely give their fans their money's worth because they're an exciting team. They score a lot of goals. Sometimes they lack concentration at the back. And an exciting game beat Legia Warsaw 8-4, which means they go through to the last 16. And joining them is Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, as I mentioned, Juventus, Leicester City get in there, Bayer Leverkusen, Monaco, PSG and Real Madrid. Real Madrid continue their unbelievable 30-game unbeaten run. Zinedine Zidane's men just never know when to say, nah, this game's okay, we'll settle for the draw. They concede against 10 men Sporting Lisbon late on, but Karim the Dream Benzema batters in a goal to make sure that they go on and continue to win. So they are a team that has this never say die attitude when it comes to winning games, a winning mentality driven into their core, something that many people and many teams would kill for, Manchester United, whoever else you want to look at. But there is something that has to be said about the Sporting Lisbon team as well. I want to give them a brief shout out. They definitely cause a problem both home and away against Real Madrid, and they're unlucky, but it's a tough group. However, it's not a tough break for Tottenham Hotspur. They crash out of the Champions League. Jokes are flying around Twitter. Not as bad as my jokes to start the clip, but some would say you can take Tottenham out of the Europa League, but you can't take the Europa League out of Tottenham. Of course, saying that they will make their way back into Thursday night football, and I don't think there's any excuse for it here. Pochettino really has to figure this out. They were in a group that, no, Monaco are not an easy team, Bayer Leverkusen are not an easy team. But they definitely should have put up more of a challenge to compete for the last 16 than what they did. You see Leicester City topping their group in amongst tough teams like Porto, who have yet to concede a goal at home since Nam, and Tottenham Hotspur. I think they've scored like 7 of the last 9 or 8 10 goals have been penalty kicks. They've scored like 3 goals in open play. There is a fundamental problem at Tottenham Hotspur. They lack the belief that they had last year, and they crash out of a competition where they were gift-wrapped an opportunity to emerge into the last 16. They were given a group that has a couple of tough teams, but their form at home last year, their ability to overcome tough, adverse opponents last year really should have carried them through. There is no excuse. Tottenham Hotspur fans are going to have to deal with a lot of laughs from Arsenal fans who are in a fine run of form in the Premier League, and they're already through in the Champions League. So it's a tough time to be a Spurs fan at the moment after last year's almost fantastic season. They crashed out of Europa League when they put all of their eggs in the basket in the Premier League and then eventually fell behind Arsenal again. It's Arsenal's only saving grace at the moment that they seem to always just be ahead of Tottenham Hotspur, even in times when they're not playing that well. So Spurs really have to pick it up. But elsewhere in the Champions League, it was a phenomenal day of football. I hope it continues on to tomorrow and the mighty Glasgow Celtic can get a victory over Barcelona. We can only hope and pray. But Juventus are actually the only team to beat Sevilla at home this season since Barcelona, as they win 3-1. Mandzukic has been banging in the goals in all competitions. He looks in fine form. They win that game 3-1. Bonucci wins a penalty to get them back into the game after Sevilla took the lead. And then he bangs in a shot from 25, 30 yards into the bottom corner. Don't know what he's doing that. He's usually just a stonewall defender. Tough to beat, but in the Champions League, man, you never know what will happen. We just seen 8-4. We literally seen a FIFA game in real life represented as a game that we get to watch. It is why we love. My takeaways is we got goals galore, we had shitty jokes to start with, and we've got more Champions League football to look forward to. A special mention, of course, has to go to Leicester City. Top of their group. Their form in the Premier League has to be questioned. They are not continuing that same fine form they had last year. They're doing certain things that they did very well last year, not at all this year. And they're not as good at counter-attacking football as what they once were. But in the Champions League, they're a different team. And we have seen countless examples of teams not perform as well in their domestic league, but then carry over a different run of form into the Champions League. You never know with Leicester City. Who's going to count them out? Who could honestly say that Leicester City couldn't go last 16? Maybe they get a kind draw because they finish top, maybe get a second seed. Quarterfinals, semi-finals, who knows? There might be another parade at Leicester City, King Power Stadium. There might be more BMWs bought for the team, this time adding a Champions League trophy. Who could only think about it? If you were to tell me this 2 years ago, I'd ask you what you're smoking and can I have some? But after what we've seen in the Premier League, nothing is impossible. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. As always, it's been a pleasure. Francis_Maxwell on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram, Francis Maxwell Host. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys soon.